Let's just jump right in because we've got to talk about the sheer madness of the brand new Godzilla Legendary collaboration in Call of Duty Mobile. If you've been following the leaks or even just glancing at the community chatter lately, you know the hype for this drop has been absolutely off the charts. Today, we're diving into an early access explainer to see exactly what this collab brings to the table. We're going to break down the investment, the totally insane aesthetics, and most importantly, how it actually holds up in high-stakes Battle Royale gameplay. Let me tell you, it's looking absolutely wild right out of the gate. 28,000. Yep, that massive number is the exact amount of COD points prepped just to max out this highly anticipated monstrous drop. If you're someone who meticulously plans your gaming investments, you know maximizing a lucky draw like this is a massive commitment. It takes a really hefty stack of points to guarantee you pull every single item, clear the entire board, and ultimately secure that fully upgraded, max-level legendary weapon. So why on earth are players willing to drop that kind of investment? Well, I think this reaction completely hits the nail on the head. An actual atomic blast just vaporized that dude. I mean, that perfectly captures the peak excitement we're unpacking today. It beautifully balances the reality of that massive financial cost with the spectacular, totally jaw-dropping rewards you get in return. When you're out there in the lobby, it's literally those moments, just vaporizing your opponent into thin air, that make the grind and the cost feel absolutely justified for the hardcore fans. Section 1. The hype and investment. Securing this top-tier gear through the lucky draw is, well, it's the ultimate test of luck. Now, you might manifest some crazy early luck starting with a 1 COD point pull, which will probably land you a legendary calling card. It's a great start, sure, but it's really just the beginning. Step 2 is where things get super exciting. The system will occasionally surprise you with an early character skin pull, which obviously saves you a ton of points. But let's be real, Step 3 represents the reality for most completionists out there, requiring max dedication and all 28,000 of those COD points to finally secure the legendary weapon itself. Securing that character skin early is a massive win, especially because the Godzilla-themed operator features some absolutely incredible details. I mean, check out the shoulder plates. They literally resemble Godzilla's iconic dorsal fins. It's just a total win for your loadout. And beyond the operator, maxing out the whole draw unlocks those highly coveted level 5 tracer rounds and that custom King of the Monsters death effect we hinted at just a second ago. Section 2. Unpacking the Godzilla aesthetics. Now, let's look at the sheer level of visual design on this weapon, because honestly, it's arguably some of the coolest, most incredibly detailed artwork we've seen in the game's history. The community has been praising the barrel of the gun as a total visual masterpiece, and they're right. It's not just painted on, it's coated in these glowing blue scales that visibly pulse with radiation. It gives the weapon this living, breathing, incredibly dangerous feel right there in your hands. If you're a player who appreciates visual storytelling and game design, this pulsating atomic energy is an absolute game changer. But wait, the visuals don't stop when you're just holding it. Hitting the inspect button reveals what the community is calling a flawless 10 out of 10 animation. Seriously, the entire weapon literally roars, and actual fire starts spitting out of the side of the gun. It's just an incredibly dynamic piece of animation that brings the King of the Monsters straight onto your screen. It is easily one of the most interactive and aggressive inspect animations we have gotten to date. And then there's the ultimate payoff. Getting an elimination triggers this phenomenal custom death effect, complete atomic blast vaporization. You're not just taking an enemy down here, you are completely erasing them from the battlefield in a massive atomic blast. It's visually stunning, and let me tell you, it is incredibly satisfying when you're stringing those eliminations together. Section 3. Combat performance and utility. But aesthetics aside for a minute, how does this thing actually perform in the absolutely toxic action of New Vision City when you're pushing for a dirty 30-kill game? Well, objectively, we have a pretty clear breakdown of its performance. On the plus side, the weapon brings some really aggressive mobility and incredibly sleek, uncluttered iron sights. They aren't chunky at all, which makes them absolutely perfect for tracking players who are trying to zip away from you. But on the flip side, there is a distinct drawback. You're going to notice some serious aim shake when you're spraying at a distance. So no, it's not a perfect laser beam right out of the box. So how do we fix that? To compensate for that aim shake, you are absolutely going to need to equip a gold long-range mod or a steady stock just to keep your shots beamed. But once you do that, the weapon completely transforms. The power profile is incredibly strong. It feels very comparable to the heavy-hitting mythic Odin, but with that aggressive mobility we just talked about. Plus, it features an atomic fire rate that is fully capable of just melting an entire enemy team dropping in on hoverbikes. I'm telling you, it has some serious stopping power. Section 4. Competitive edge or distraction. So, does this hardcore aesthetic actually help or hinder competitive gameplay? Well, as one player perfectly summarized, the visual overhaul is so dramatic that it completely changes the feel of the game. It truly doesn't even feel like you're playing the same game when you're holding a weapon that looks this intense. Whether you're a massive Godzilla superfan or you just want to secure the absolute most drip possible in your lobby, this weapon lives up to every single ounce of the community hype. So, I want to leave you with this final thought to chew on. Is this spectacular, screen-filling death effect too distracting for pure competitive play? Or is it simply the best, most intimidating thing CODM has ever cooked up? When you trigger an atomic blast that literally vaporizes an enemy, does it give you a psychological edge over the rest of the lobby? Or does the sheer massive size of the visual effect become the ultimate tactical distraction right when you're trying to clutch a super tight game? Think about how these incredible visuals actually impact your focus and strategy. Thanks so much for joining this explainer, and definitely keep all of this in mind the next time you drop into New Vision City.